Well, that was a rush. Oh, I'm hiding. There I am. Anyway. This will be just a continuation. So it's a worse storm than I thought it was going on in the background there, so... And it's still going, so who knows if it'll cut short again. If it does, I'll just shut down the stream for tonight and we'll just try another time, but we're gonna keep this ball rolling. I don't want to put too much strain on my electronics. But yeah, we'll just kind of see how it goes. It did kind of spook me just a little bit, though. It did indeed spook me. Let's see. So I tried to get back to where I was by skipping. And ooh, there's a little spider. Hi, spider. You can go all the way over here. Far away from me. Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. Alright. So yeah, I try to put it back to the right spot, but the skip option is pretty quick. So this is just kind of what it stopped on. So where we left off in the story was that we were going to meet somebody new. So this is Elizabeth. Not quite sure what voice to give her. I'm gonna start with a British accent, so let's see how it goes. Though, I hope their vulgar behavior doesn't wash off on you. Wow. I take it you don't like the cleanup department that much. I utterly despise them. Not unlike any of them are worth my time, of course. I'm too busy to be bothered by their mere existence. Please don't misunderstand me, though. I don't intend to ostracize people based on my personal bias towards them. Everything happens for a reason. You understand? Despite his... That's a boy? Okay. Once again, I'm fooled. Okay, I can see it now. I can see it. I didn't see it before, but now I see it. Oh, goodness. Not really. Well, aside from wondering why you enjoyed looking like a child. Is that Shibari on his fucking leg? Boy. There's something you want desperately. No, he's Australian now. Oh god, I can't do an accent to save my life under pressure. Can do it just fine off stream, but on stream it all goes downhill. You're willing to pay whatever price is necessary to get it. The side effects of such mean I now defy the passage of time forever. In other words, you're going backwards. Exactly. Well, almost. You're pretty sharp. Just as I thought. My hunches are never wrong. The only kind of adult you should look up to is the one who ends every thought praising themselves. What's this? It's already been about a week, You have until your rite of ordination to learn all about the temple and its geography. Oh, it keeps going Australian. I can't stop it. Straight up just Cockney. Get accustomed to carrying out your job smoothly. Smoothly! I can't do it, I can't do it. And take in as much as you can from my dear RNA. That's all. Anything other than that is unimportant. Wow, I heard you're a pretty important person around here, and yet This seems like an incredibly kind gesture. What's really going on? As I said when we first met, the continuation of the magic department depends on you. What's important for now is getting you in. Once that happens, as long as you maintain an exemplary record and gather a large flock of believers, your partner Arne will take care of the rest. Wait, hold on a minute. Partner, like married spouse? Of course! You really are quick to pick up on things. The reason why Alternatas have maintained such an exalted position throughout history is because of our divine power, far stronger than any other. And that power flows through your veins. I'm not sure what you mean. I only have 2 stigmata. I'm referring to the potential that currently lies dormant within you. The potential? I was wondering what was going on, and it turns out to be more than ridiculous than I was prepared for. I'm the one who blindly accepted an invitation by a total stranger and came here of my own free will without asking even one single question about it. That I put my entire life on the line for a reckless gamble is, in itself, pretty ballsy. Hey, cat, get out of my water. No, no. No, no. No, 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 no. Nya, 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 nya. I love you. But I guess this also means that the magic department's continued existence is on the line. While everything you said sounds promising so far, how can you be sure I'll agree to doing any of this? The possibility of you turning down my offer? Interesting. I'm the one who stuck my neck out in order to bring you here. No one would be foolish enough to complain about being handed a free ride. His commanding tone a voice echoes loudly in the room, my sense of obligation growing heavier along with it. I'm pretty pissed about a number of things, but if I can't control my anger, everything ends here. I see. Thanks, Bishop. So, I'll take that to mean I'm free to wander on the temple grounds whenever I want, then? Let's not overcomplicate things. I, Erzabet Alternata, grant you permission to come and go as you please. With that said, the temple is not without its fair share of eccentrics, shall we say. You do well not to get involved in their affairs. Now then, is there a special spot you have in mind? Not exactly, but it seems there are many interesting places throughout the temple. Like the training room, for example, or the infirmary, or the library. Do not mingle with the unhealed patients in the infirmary. Their slothfulness will cause your own senses to dull. The library, however, it's true that you clearly lack knowledge regarding the capital, and it is important that you make up for it. However, the academics have an inclination for writing poetry, so keep on your toes. Poetry? Perhaps I was a bit too vague. So let me try again. Put simply, they've got a screw or two loose. The academic department is like a den of snakes. Otherwise, as I mentioned previously, start forming a closer relationship with Arne. I'll be sure to do that. Get closer so you can become wife. She can become wife. Just what I want to hear. Now then, it's about time you were off. Seemingly satisfied with my answer, he once again picks up his papers. Love one another, as God loves you. I'm just gonna do one of these. Gonna do one of these and overwrite my save, because there are no other endings that I know of. Because if I have to skip again, I'm gonna scream. I finally let out a breath I was holding. He might look like an adorable young boy, but hidden inside is an absolutely heartless old geezer. Oh god, it's a fucking gym leader. No, he looks straight out of Kill la Kill. Who am I kidding? Oh gosh, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. As I limp out, dragging my tired feet behind me, I find myself greeted familiarly by a rather tall man. Didn't we just meet yesterday? Why were you looking for me? I heard you had a meeting with the bishop, right? You just looked so lost about everything yesterday. So I was really worried about you. Looks like you're all done then. A one-on-one meeting with the bishop must have been rough. But he seems to really like you, Hibika. Honestly, just thinking about it makes my stomach turn. Seriously. To be honest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. It's hard for me to feel proud about any of this when I'm not sure if this even benefits me in any way. But I think I should be okay. But I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. That you share this magical bloodline is all that really matters. Whether you believe it or not, the divine power chose you. Magic literally runs through your veins. Which is why you gotta make sure your actions and behavior reflect that power. Speaking of which, I heard you snap that lady... Her. How did you know about that? Word spreads fast in the temple, especially when it comes to Claire. She can strip a person down in seconds, figuratively and literally. But she loves hanging out here. In fact, she's probably still around somewhere. So, did you need me for something? Were you really looking for me because you were worried? Or is this about something else? Well, actually, I wanted to apologize how I treated you yesterday. You've got it all wrong, though. I'm not a heartless jerk. I hope you can believe me. It's just... no need to stress. Just tell me what's up. As I wait for his answer, my eyes scan his face silently, looking for a sign. Constantly reading people's expressions is starting to get exhausting. He still seems distressed over the incident from the other day. I can tell by the way he touches his neck that has been preying on his mind that he feels embarrassed about it. He briefly lowers his gaze and chooses his words carefully. Then, as if making up his mind, he clears his throat and opens his mouth to speak. So, I'm sorry for answering a question with a question, but if I may ask, what's your honest opinion of my older sister? I definitely wasn't expecting that, but my answer quickly springs to mind. Oh, maybe we have some choices. You have a thing for your own sister? What did you say? No! What? How could you? Absolutely not. My answer causes him to practically jump out of his skin in shock. But his over-the-top expression means, isn't that your sister? Isn't that... Are they not brother and sister? Really? So you hate her then? Of course I don't. I mean, that's not important. I don't appreciate you talking about my sister like that. She deserves way more respect. Oh my god. Maybe this is a matter of cultural difference, but she's too good of a person to be referred to so crudely. If your sister really is that sweet, then instead of arguing with random strangers, maybe you should spend more time with her, big bro. I never gave you permission to call me that. Don't tell me you were this rude in front of the bishop. He despises impertinence more than anything in the world. The other day, one of the priests didn't reference his title when addressing him. He was fired on the spot and sent back to where he came from. He's so rude. Don't I know it? Ugh, he really is an oversensitive monster. Anyway, no matter how far you've come to be here, There's a certain way of doing things that you must adhere to. Each department has a hierarchy, and you must always consider your place in every interaction. If you're not familiar with the way we speak here, then study harder. Also, I'm more than happy to help, if you want. What? I've been speaking the language here just fine? Huh? Look, I get it. So what you're saying is the bishop of the magic department is an irredeemable old fart. And Big Brother Enoch wants to stand out in his big sister's eyes by pretending to be nice to the rookie who arrived yesterday. What? Don't worry. From now on, I'll be sure that everyone knows how much I look up to you, dear Enoch. So don't be so hard on me, big brother of mine. You're sounding just like that bishop you love so much. Oh, what exactly do you mean by that? And stop coming up with weird nicknames for me without asking my permission first. Finally, stop using His Excellency's name as an insult. Seeing this guy so insecure that I fear for his future brings back memories of my village. I had a tendency to irritate everyone with my smart aleck remarks. Never meant anything bad by what I said, though. The person I used to be would never have imagined mocking someone's misfortune or taking cheap shots at someone's insecurities. Which is why even I'm a little shocked at myself. I'm grateful to Enoch for providing me with a pleasant little distraction. Of course! I'll be sure to keep that in mind for next time. Now, if you'll excuse me. Huh? Whoa. Hold on, don't go yet. Now then, who should I share this good mood with? Not that jerk who looks down on me. How about someone who knows Enoch well and enjoys talking with me? I feel a spring in my step as an image of a kind, brown-haired teacher comes to mind, waving at me fondly. Where are we going? Now then. Where should I go? Oh. Well, you said brown hair. Do you mean the... What's at the stairs? I haven't been to the stairs yet. It's a pom-pom kitty. It's my cat. I love my cat. She is so round and oh so fat. Fat cat. All to the side, if someone was actively searching for me, not a day after meeting me, then that must mean they were considering my feelings. Whatever the reason, I can't ignore a show of goodwill. And apart from that, wallowing in disconsolation forever will only serve to hurt me. I need to get a grip and think through my situation. I smacked myself in the cheeks, eyes shut. Okay, my work for today is finished, and I left the storehouse organization to him. Which means Secret will probably be breathing nothing but dust holed up in that storehouse all day. I won't need to see him until tomorrow, or have my mood fouled up by him for that matter. I need some of that fresh outside air to relax. I'll pass on sitting around inhaling all the dust in the storehouse and mold in my dorm room. Thanks. And this way, I might run into someone suffering from the same thing. Priests don't go about the temple in a hurry. Their job's still unfinished. I'm the only one who looks like he has nothing to do, and I feel like I stand out like a sore thumb because of it. I look for a spot in the back where I won't get in their way, and on my way to the rear gates, I spot a passage I've never seen before. They can't get mad at me for going in, right? It's not like there's a warning saying authorized personnel only. Wait, I am authorized personnel. Ooh. The staircase. I go in and find a bleak-looking staircase. These look like emergency stairs. It's already been 3 days since I came to this temple, but I never knew this place existed. All the priests just go straight from the gates to the central staircase, so I suppose it makes sense. It's quiet inside, but without a trace of human activity. Surrounded on all sides, I can't hear anything. And before I even take a breath, I feel as though I've left the temple entirely. This quiet place is perfect for organizing my thoughts when I don't want to go back to my dorm room. As I go up the stairs, I come to a flat landing and lean against a window frame. It's the season for rain, and it's been pouring since this morning. It's stopped now, but the weather's still dreary. Or was it the gloomy weather due to the polar night rather than the rain and clouds? If we keep getting dark days like these, Maya's beloved flowers would wither. I gaze down and get a view of the arbor. Now that I think of it, it's on the way to the rear gate, so it makes sense that I can see it. Familiar trees, familiar flowers, familiar hair. It's Maya, and the unfamiliar hair next to her is... Claire! I accidentally shout. The two girls hear me and turn to look. Oh, what are you doing all the way up there, Lord Hibika? That's my line. Shouldn't you girls be home at this hour? I lean way out of the window and shout, but they don't answer. They seem to be talking about something, but I can't hear from up here. I remain in that dubious position, waiting for their conversation to end. Eventually, the girls, even smaller from a distance, wait for me to come over. We did all that just to end up in the flower garden. I head down, then go over to them and sit down in the white chair across from them. Since Maya only ever seems to sit on one particular bench, I didn't realize there were two chairs tucked away in the corner of the rose garden, with a small table between them. What might have once been an outdoor terrace is now just an abandoned garden, overgrown with vines and weeds. It goes without saying, there's no tea or cakes. The table is a simple affair. Whoa, I felt that thunder. Stained here and there with water spots from the rain. And yet, Claire's presence granted an air of elegance. You're the last person I expect to see in a place like this. What brings you here at this hour? Shouldn't you be working? It's lunchtime, so trainees like me are off the clock for now. It's already that late? My word, is that so? I was having such a great chat that I lost track of the time. I'm not ready to say goodbye to my dear sweet Maya. Dear sweet Maya? I guess they did look pretty chummy when I saw them this morning. Do you two go way back or something? Not at all. We're just, acquaintances. I can see Maya noticeably shrink, put off guard by my comment, as timid as always. She seems to be feeling out Claire's mood, not wanting to overstep. I only met my dear sweet Maya today. In fact, just this morning. I arrived a little before most folks in the cleanup department arrived to start work. I had to help sort out supplies first, you see. You came here that early? Then Maya must have had to get up before the sun did. I'm used to it. I've always been an early riser. I used to get up that early back in my hometown. So then, sleeping in late today was a one-off? Nope, I've never been a stickler for routine. A person who doesn't follow the rules of the place they live in. You're such a free spirit. Nah, I definitely got in trouble for that, but a hard worker like you to come in so early in the morning. And you're a guest, meaning you must have had a lot further to travel, right? What time did you wake up? That's true, though I actually came here earlier than usual. You did? Why's that? It should be obvious. I was excited to meet you, the marvelous outsider. Me? Of course. Hailing from afar outside the capital, a small island far north that's said to be as hot as the countries in the exotic east. Though little is known about it, various organizations and scholars visit regularly to confirm its history. A land of dreams and adventures, flowing with possibilities. Upon hearing that you came from such a place, I had to speak to you right away. I'm definitely not from this island she's talking about. Who would even start such a rumor? I want to say something, but her eyes are sparkling somehow even more excitedly than this morning. Is it her overbearing attitude? Really nothing more than pure curiosity. Which is why I want to apologize how rude I was this morning. Again, I'm truly sorry. Look, it's fine. I feel bad for shouting at you the way I did. It's been preying on my mind all day. So, I'm glad I was able to apologize, no matter how short it would have been. Claire giggles at my response. She's a whirlwind of emotions, switching from sad to happy in a heartbeat. At any rate, if you hadn't been so outstandingly late, we might have started off on the right foot this morning. So that's how you ended up getting attached to Maya, who started the same day I did? That's not entirely true, although to be fair, the reason why I chose Maya isn't that complicated. Basically, she was the cutest person there. What? Yep, that makes sense. Stop teasing me, you two. I'm not teasing you in the slightest. I thought so the moment I laid eyes on you. With those soft, peach-colored curls, your belly as round as your head, wearing the type of ruffled skirt that is so in fashion right now in the capital, and a slender build that makes you look younger than your age, plus those sad eyes of yours that make you look as adorable as a fragile baby animal. You're amazingly observant to see all of that at a single glance. Maya's face turns redder with each word as she hangs her head embarrassed. No matter how much you flatter her, that spot next to her is reserved for me. Ridiculous. Dear sweet Maya, who do you like more? Please, just knock it off already. No way! This is a serious matter. Sweet Maya, it's time for you to clock off work, correct? Why don't we go see a movie together? Come on! It's called Flowers in the Attic. A romantic horror film about the forbidden love affair between two siblings. What is up with the sibling love? Stop it! And it's directed by a cinematic legend who's known for some of the best-selling masterpieces in the capital. I'm sure you've heard about it, right? Yeah. Oh, right. I've heard of it. I didn't realize since it came out already. I blurt out the words before I can stop myself. It's impossible to grow up, not fascinated by the capital, producing so much of all available entertainment that it almost seems like the center of the world itself. Being in the middle of nowhere meant information was scant and hard to come by, though not impossible to collect. I learned what I could from the soldiers on patrol and scholars passing through. And so, enthralled by every scrap they threw my way, I grew up enthralled by that magical place. You've seen other movies by that director before? I grew up in a small town, so backwards we didn't even have radios, let alone a movie theater. I haven't seen any, but I'm familiar with the plots. I read through the entire library of their works. That one's about the husband who falls in love with a girl while on a business trip, right? Goose Season, right! That one's truly a masterpiece. It ended up being delayed due to production issues, but the twist they threw in was wilder than anyone expected. Right. His affair partner thought his wife was just a friend the whole time. A simple misunderstanding ending in tragedy. And with the delayed release, it felt like the film vanished from theaters overnight. I know, right? Though to be fair, I've been distracted by another movie that came out at the same time. Maybe you've heard of it? I have. Well, I read the plot. Though to be honest, I thought it was... terrible? Right, exactly. You got a pretty good sense of this kind of thing. There's no way a work of that caliber should have been buried in obscurity by a popcorn thriller designed to sell tickets. But, well, genius is never understood in its own time. We give each other a high five with our hands so much smaller than mine. The sound of our hands clapping together is less lighthearted than I expected. I never thought I'd share a conversation like this with anyone. Please, don't just stand there, Hibika. Have a seat. Make yourself cozy. Do you want am or fum? It's a little late for that, isn't it? Also, there's only 2 chairs. In that case, I'll make room for you by sitting on dear sweet Maya's lap. I believe the phrase, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, fits the situation perfectly. I believe slip of the tongue would work in this situation as well. Don't put poor Maya on the spot. Should I leave? I wouldn't have come all the way out here if it wasn't for you, Maya. That's right. I have no reason to stay here along with this fine gentleman if he weren't here. Do you have a favorite movie, Maya? Me? No, sorry. I don't know much about them. I've never really had a chance to watch any. Oh yeah? I guess there's a lot of cinemas outside the capital, huh? I guess music is what most kids our age are into nowadays. I do have a passing interest in it. No matter who you ask, the singer representing the capital at the moment is Miss Galactia. Her bold yet sensitive lyrics, written all by herself, speaks directly to the younger generation, captivating them. She's a famous musical actress as well. By musical, you mean the thing with the snake sandwich? I knew you'd know what I was talking about, Hibika. And it was featured on the lunch menu as well. It's better as a breakfast meal. Wouldn't it taste exactly the same? Musicals are certainly not everyone's cup of tea. But I'm sure you'd fall in love with them if you saw a couple, Maya. Let me see if I can try to explain. So, the female protagonist starts off only liking ham sandwiches, and this is really frustrating. I feel like if I try explaining the whole thing to you, it'll lose everything that makes it hilarious. You gotta see it for yourself. I'll take you to see it whenever you have some free time, sweet Maya. I don't really know that much about musicals, but I have a feeling it's not something that has repeat performances. I'm sorry for interrupting your fun conversation. You don't need to apologize all the time. There must be something you like, right? Oh, poor thing. She's thinking so hard. Our conversation devolves into silence. Claire's trying to think of a new topic of conversation and seems to be coming up blank. I can't think of anything Maya likes aside from flowers and animals, but the main point is, how can we bring her out of her shell to break the silence as quickly as possible? Oh hey, want to see something cool? Something cool? It's just a simple mind-reading trick. Who should I try it on? Oh gosh, me, pick me! Do you have a piece of paper and a pen by chance? Of course, we don't have anything of the... Is a memo pad okay? Great, now Claire, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I want you to think of the answer without saying out loud, and I'll write it down on this piece of paper. My eyes are pretty sharp, Rebecca, so you better not try writing all the answers down at the end. Maya's job is to help make sure I don't cheat, so don't worry. Okay, think about what month you were born in. This is how they trick naive girls into giving out personal information. You have a great taste in movies, but maybe you should consider cutting back a bit. And if I did so, you'd be the one languishing in sorrow. I'm truly honored you feel that way about me. Maya has a look of doubt on her face as she keeps an eye on the piece of paper. With her right beside me, it should be easy as pie to trick her, so I hope I can pull it off. Now, tell me your answer. It's August. The same as mine! Oh my goodness. This game. My birthday's in August. It's coming up pretty soon. Being a summer child is pretty sad, especially in the capital where it's always cold. I wish I could experience a true summer one year. Real heat can be tough on folks from the capital. Are you sure you could handle it after being spoiled by a good family? What month were you born in, Maya? Me? I was born in Shepherd Moon, so that would be 5... Spring, huh? So lucky. Spring conjures up images of beauty and warmth, just like you, sweet Maya. You consider May to be spring? Well, it's certainly not summer. Next question. The day you were born, naturally. Give me 5 seconds. No need to rush. 3, 2, 1. I was born on the 10th. I'm on the 9th. If I'd been born a little faster, we might have shared birthdays. So close. That's not my fault. But that must mean our parents must have, on the same day. Last question. Last but not least, you pick. Which do you like more, cats or dogs? This one's a bit more challenging, as befitting as the final question. You go first this time, Maya. I think I like both of them equally. And I love my dear sweet Maya. Me too, but I need you to pick an answer from the choices I gave you. This is hard, but I think I made up my mind. You tell me your answer and I'll show you what I wrote at the same time. You seem confident. I like cats the best. I hold out 3 pieces of paper, each with an answer to one of my questions. August 9th, cat, and every single one was correct. Claire looks as surprised as a newborn kitten, but I exchanged an awkward glance with Maya. All I did was change the order of the notes. Her expression of amazement seemed natural enough in the face of such an outrageously candid trick. I feel oddly embarrassed despite knowing that's how magic works. That was amazing. How did you do it? A magician never reveals his secrets, though I'm sure if you think about it, you'll understand how it works. I'm so intrigued. You must practice tricks like this all the time. There's not much to do where I come from, so I spent a lot of time imitating the folks printed in old magazines and the adults around me. As you can see, I'm pretty good with my hands. If I had a rope or something, I'd be able to show you much cooler tricks. Oh my. I'm going to learn some magic tricks too. You'll have to come and see me perform, dear sweet Maya. Sure, I can't wait. You two have so much to talk about. Because we both like a lot of the same things. I'm just as surprised as you are, honestly. I've never met anyone I could talk to as easily as him. We certainly have a lot in common. I'm a cat person too. I kinda had a feeling you were. There you go, once again taking the words out of my mouth. The village I grew up in is filled with cats and birds. So I've been around cats most of my life. though. It's not like I miss them. It's probably because cats are very territorial creatures. Oh, thanks for popping in for such a short time. I hope you have a good night. Never try to steal anything from them. Maya, who's been listening silently to our conversation, begins fidgeting with her hands underneath the table before suddenly getting to her feet. I'm going to head back. Huh? You're leaving already? Yeah, I'm kind of tired. Try not to stay out too much later, Claire. Alright then, take care, Maya. I'll see you later at the dorm. Oh, hello! How are you? Thanks for coming. Welcome. I quickly say goodbye as Maya leaves the arbor without replying. Her seat is now empty, as though it's waiting for me to take it in her place. With her gone, our conversation fizzles out like it never happened at all. We were going on and on about random topics just a moment ago, but maybe it was just so easy for us because we were both familiar with Maya. If even that's the same about the two of us, then I feel like we're awfully similar people. You seem quite friendly with Maya. Oh, voices. You seem quite friendly with Maya, yes? Claire is the one to break the uncomfortable silence. Oh, does it look that way? Yes, before you arrived, we were talking about you a little, about how the two of you are always together. Maya was talking about me? And it's quite plain to see how happy you are about it. That's not what I don't have any friends, so I get very envious watching everyone else at the temple. The words come suddenly. She's always seemed too natural and open. So I'm perplexed at this abrupt shadow of herself that she's showing me. But I rack my brain thinking about why in order to avoid letting it show. There's really only one way to answer something like that. I mean, it's never seemed like that to me before, and I'm glad I was able to talk to you. When I first saw you, I figured you were just another rich girl from the capital. But now that I've talked to you, I realized how much we have in common. It was fun. Like, you can't judge a book by its cover and all that. Truly? I'm an outsider, as you know, so I don't know a whole lot. I didn't have anyone I could just drum up a conversation with, so it's been kind of lonely. It's been a while since I've had a candid conversation like that, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad as well. I'm an outsider, so I can count on one hand the number of times I've been able to chat like this. Everyone at the temple treats me nicely, of course, but it feels like I'm a guest. It's been a long time since I found someone I can talk about my hobbies with. Maybe the first time ever. Thank you for granting me some of your precious time. Nah, my time's not that precious. And anyway, I should be thanking you. Will we see each other again? Yes, I do. Still help with work around the temple. Minor though it may be, so we're sure to meet again. Then let's hang out and talk about all sorts of stuff again. Just like today. Oh, of course. I should be the one asking you that. I hope you'll accompany me next time. Okay. Well, we were technically just at the flower garden, which is weird. So I wonder what that will entail. The rose arbor is empty. I know Maya always comes here to water the flowers, but looks like she already stopped by for the day and left. I walk over to Maya's favorite flower only to find fresh water droplets on it. Maya's face immediately springs to my mind, warming my heart. I'm sad I missed her, but I'm sure she'll be back another time. Oh, okay. Okay. So I can go to work. I can go to the infirmary. Let's go to the workplace. As I walks, blah 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 blah. Whenever I have a moment to spare, memories from the previous night instantly fill my thoughts. Though I shouldn't be thinking about that right now. There seems to be a blank in my memory. I can't remember anything up until I saw Maya and Claire off before heading out to get some work done in town. I get the feeling I'll just be in everyone's way if I continue to stand here, so I begin walking around. I want to go outside and preferably somewhere I can be alone. The dormitory is crowded as usual, but as soon as I can put some distance between us, the crowds around me instantly vanish. I'm on the path leading toward the workplace. It's wide enough for several people to walk, side by side. Yet it's late enough that there's no one here but me, just like yesterday. Smoke rises up into the deep black sky, the acrid air irritating my lungs, making me cough. The outdoors workplace feels cooler, but is far from clean thanks to the proliferation of soot. Speaking of air quality, the town from earlier today wasn't that clean either. The heavy population in the capital is, indeed, a big problem. And this is where we deal with the corpses we find, surrounded by smoke. Well, actually, there's only one person who deals with them. Within the cramped room, the scorched floor splattered with the dried-up remains of yellow soup. An old man's corpse is on the verge of becoming a lost soul. Disposal takes almost no time at all, though, so there's no danger. The only movement is being his blackened limbs. His skinny arms and legs, nothing more than skin and bone, twitch and jerk, as if there's still life in him. Which is when the other guy brings his sword down. I simply stand there, watching him from afar. Memories of what I've seen leave me feeling excessively uncomfortable. Is whatever's burning me in the incinerator part of a dead body? I find it harder to breathe the closer I get. Peering into the incinerator, there's nothing left but charred ash, burned far beyond recognition. Don't get too close to the incinerator. It's dangerous. A jovial voice scatters my thoughts. I guess I didn't hear her footsteps over the sound of the machinery. I hear her chuckle from somewhere behind me. Though she means well, her presence is kind of a mixed blessing. Standing in front of her, my mind tends to fill up with way too many thoughts. Because someone might come up behind you and push you inside. Your Excellency, I know you're joking, but that's kind of brutal. You're lucky that this time it was just me, Is that part of the joke? Sounds like a threat. Punchline's my death, right? I'm not joking in the slightest. Even God has no right to toy with human life. Only someone with malicious intent would do something like that. Malicious intent? It's painful to admit, but unlike the other departments, the priests in the cleanup department meet a lot of bereaved relatives, face to face. There are many who bear grudges without reason. I have an idea what she means. I felt something similar earlier. As a member of the disposal team, it's part of my job to help those affected by the death of a loved one to safely vent their hatred, rage, and grief. It might seem irrational, but it's nothing personal. Thinking about it carefully, there's someone I'm especially curious about. The priests are one thing, but what about this person in front of me? Why are you staring at me so seriously? You represent an entire group of people, correct? So you don't mind being responsible for our department? Wow, you're worried about me? Well, my goodness, you have such a sweet soul. This is the second time a priest has shown concern over my well-being. When did you become a bishop? Oh, since the formation of this department. About 3 years ago. That only 2 people expressed worried over 3 years ago seems an issue. Oh, you think so? You know, Your Excellency, you're kind of unsettling. You mean because I tend to wobble side to side like this? The way you move makes you look like a puppet on a string. Almost like you fall over if I take my eyes off you for even just a moment. You think my limbs are controlled by strings? Also, you have a tendency to constantly change the subject, like now. Crap, stop going off weird tangents. I'm completely invested in our conversation. You're the one with the tendency to flit from topic to topic, Brother Hibika. Our chats always end up going in muddled circles. You're the one who's always one step behind, Your Excellency. For every word you speak, a normal person like me utters 10. Ridiculous? I've always wanted to ask you this. Is your slower speech just a habit of yours? Not a purposeful habit. In fact, I haven't noticed that I speak any slower than anyone else. I merely try to match my pace with whoever I'm talking to. Perhaps your way of thinking is as slow as the manner with which you speak. You just cut me off in the middle of a thought. Again. There's no way I can respond when you do things like that. Oops. Sorry, you kind of trailed off, so I thought you were done. Yeah, they might have released the whole game by accident. I don't know. Who knows? I was deciding on what to say next. Well, then, I think we're done with that topic for now. I'm just as confused as before. Stop with the unnecessary shouting. You don't tend to talk much faster and louder during our morning assemblies, and in the chapel. Well, of course. I'm preaching the good gospel. As your teacher, it would be unbecoming for me to not know what I'm talking about. Those are all very different situations. To be frank, I'm not the best when it comes to expressing my personal opinions. Yeah, the full game's probably gonna be big. I just wonder when it's gonna cut off. What's the silver rosary in the temple used for? It's a kind of identifier that marks the temple priests, since each is inscribed with the name of the priest it belongs to. It takes about a week to replace if lost or damaged. What do you think we'll have for lunch tomorrow? Gratin? Oh, interesting. I found an unexpected weakness. Don't mock your elders. I wonder if she uses such vague flowery language in order to hide how bad she is at expressing herself. As someone who's quick to put my thoughts into words, it's hard for me to understand. The more transparent someone appears, the more suspicious I get, though this time it seems less about her as a person and more about her role as a bishop. The priests in the temple are so unfeeling that they don't even care about you. Perhaps it never bothered me in the same way because I never viewed it as problematic. I guess I've never been bitter about the various obstacles thrown in my way as I meander along. Oh, this game is called Happy Saint Sheol. It's just a demo, and it seems to be just strictly a visual novel. Just a story about how you take on a job as a cleanup crew for what seems to be a game about a disease that has stricken the population, and you're basically kind of cleaning up the aftermath. But at the same time, you're introduced to a bunch of characters and just kind of figuring out where or what this place is. Even if people accuse you of things behind your back or speak bad about you, I'm still not bitter. Negative feelings only give birth to more negativity. Everything revolves around divine providence. The cleanup department exists to help keep the capital and the temple running. Yes, very, very spoopy indeed. Very, very spoopy. I expected it to be spookier, but I don't know if that'll come around a little later. When that hatred and rage is passed on to me, then it's just more marvelous proof that the cleanup department is working as intended. So everything really is for the sake of the nation. But of course, the cleanup department was created for the sake of the people. Besides, there's no way I could feel bitter resentment or being graced with this role from our Father, the Lord. If you're okay with it, then I guess that's fine, but I'm not sure if the other priests, including myself, see it that way. And yet, the cleanup department seems to be thriving, with all the priests carrying out their respective roles marvelously. And how grateful I am because of it. I can feel my heart sinking again. I don't think she has any idea the kinds of lives folks under her care are leading. She seems to think the priest would talk to her if there was a problem, but I disagree. She must know that if she's a bishop, if she is a bishop. Are you aware that the priests in the cleanup department don't get along? They don't? Earlier today, I saw a fight suddenly break out in the middle of the cleanup job. One guy was beat up so bad his face was a bloody mess. It wasn't an isolated incident either. Bullying runs rampant and gossip flows freely. That can't be. Granted, I might have just happened to run into a couple of bad guys, but the number of incidents seems fairly high when you consider I've only been here for not yet 3 days. A shadow falls over her face. I shut my mouth, perhaps a moment too late, though I don't think anything I said was uncalled for. I wanted to be sure. I heard rumors about the bishop, such as how incompetent she is, fully dependent on her family's good name. I've always wondered how much truth lays in malicious gossip. But she merely looks up at me again, her usual smile still on her face. Brother Ibika, I'm not indifferent to the things that happen here. Her voice is as light and calm as always, though there's an unusual resoluteness to it. I know what happens in my department. Huh? Then why don't you do anything about it? If you said something about it, then the priest would have to listen to you, right? I'm pretty sure I've already told you plenty of times before that. I have no intention of getting involved more than I have. I've talked to them face to face, warning them about their behavior. If nothing changes, then maybe more draconian measures are necessary. I disagree. I believe in the priests who work here. As I mentioned earlier, negative feelings only give birth to more negativity. I have no intention of purposefully abandoning the priests in my care. Folks here call your approach simplistic and irresponsible. Who's going to take you seriously when you place all your faith in one magical being? Brother Ibika, there is no guarantee that he who I place my faith in will ever respond. And yet, my faith never wavers. I trust him. I've never once lost sight of him. I didn't understand what she meant at first, but after talking with her, I understand her reasoning a lot better. Getting involved with the infighting only puts a band-aid on the situation without leading to a lasting solution. Folks don't make peace over a forced handshake. It's impossible to pray away the hatred harbored in someone else's heart. That's probably what she's trying to say. What if I end up being transferred to a different department? Her hair sways lightly with the excessively tall woman's back and forth movements. Her hair seems to express her sentiments before she speaks them, like an animal's tail. My department is different than the others. The other departments are filled with folks who choose to be there. The cleanup department, meanwhile, is where those who've been pushed to the limits of reality end up. The way you describe it makes it sound like hell? The word that has faintly flitted around my mind comes out of her mouth. I'm too stunned to nod, let alone answer, but my reaction clearly confirms her question. Seeing my reaction, she brings her sleeve up to cover her smile. And yet, this department isn't hell. As living creatures, all those who have fallen here can still rise above it. Which is partly why I'm charged with teaching the priests in my care, so that you may face your own sins and learn to love one another. Have you ever considered that your way of thinking might be wrong? Not at all. I believe in my teachings and the wisdom bestowed upon me by God, our Father in heaven. If you cannot believe in yourself, then how do you expect others to do so? The other priests don't seem to like you that much. And yet, I continue to love them all equally. Oh, this is exactly what I mean. That's what I refer to as belief. The rising smoke slowly begins dissipating. I cough soundlessly, my lungs and throat irritated. I still don't understand her. I can usually figure out what someone's thinking, or what exactly they want after talking to them. But being so unable to get a good read on the bishop means I have no idea how to deal with her. The more information I glean from her, the more lost I feel. Staring fixedly at her, she always seems to look away the moment our eyes meet. Perhaps the only thing I've learned is that anything I say to her is useless. That she's not interested in figuring out a direct solution because she's living in an entirely different reality. But that's not necessarily so bad. Thanks to that, I don't have to weigh my words as carefully as I do when speaking to others. Actually, a bunch of stuff happened in town today. A bunch of stuff? Like? I wasn't seriously injured, but a bunch of folks expressed their frustration and anger toward me. I've never met them before, and I have no idea what they've been through. It happens. I felt a lot of ways about what happened. Like, if I'm going to have to endure this much abuse, I'm not sure if I'm really qualified for the job. They are, of course, children of God, but we, too, despite being the recipients of their negativity, are also children of God. A person only becomes a person with the acquisition of emotions. She steps closer to me before placing her hand on my shoulder. Though surprised at first, I soon calmed down. Her hand covered in hard leather holds no trace of warmth or comfort, yet it grounded me. She squeezes my shoulder gently, as if trying to alleviate my concern. Sadness is sadness. Pain is pain. Regret is regret. All of those feelings are valid. Keep doing your best, brother. Right. I was honestly surprised at first. I chalked it up to personal reasons or my role in the department. Right. Exactly. Honesty is the best policy. I'm sure you're busy every day putting out multitudes of fires. I love helping people out. That's not exactly what I meant. That I'm busy helping making sure this place runs smoothly means you must feel my presence everywhere you go, right? The way you describe it makes you sound like a workaholic. It depends on the job, right? If you want to be appreciated so much, why not work on a job that only you can do? I strongly believe this job is something only I can do this well. What? Running around like a chicken with your head cut off? Listening to your problems and to your fellow priests. Listening to our problems, huh? The cleanup department exists for the people, but the bishop exists for the priests. You may leave us one day for the magic department, Brother Hibika. But for now, you're one of us. And it is my duty as your bishop to help you. So, I urge you to come to me with any hardships or problems you might face. There's a pause in our conversation. I glance at her before stepping away. The shoulder her hand rested on a moment ago feels heavier than the other. I shake my head once before answering. I appreciate it, but I'm fine. There's nothing weighing on me. I have no intention of telling her what I'm going through. I have a hard enough confiding in other people, and I have no doubt nothing good will come from her knowing. She's in fact the last person I'd ever tell. Hello? There we go. This feeling of rejection probably stems from my inability to trust her. I see. Well, if there's anything else you wish to share with me, I'm all ears. I love listening to stories. But you're always so busy. I still have no idea how trustworthy she is. One's ability can't be gleaned from appearances alone, and if I don't know the first thing about the type of person she truly is, I seem to be subconsciously wary of her. Though now I understand how she became the bishop of the cleanup department. Do you enjoy living here, Hibika? Have you grown to appreciate the temple? It feels like a giant cage to me, designed to keep goats, rabbits, and all manner of animals trapped inside. Guarded by a bishop who refuses to get involved with any of their affairs unless it involves a rampaging beast attempting to escape. That's how she keeps the peace here. Anyone who says they like it here has clearly lost their damn mind. I try to give her the answer she wanted to hear, but I can't bring myself to do so. She merely laughs in response before walking away. Unable to ask her directly what kind of person she is, I'm left feeling a mix of emotions. I don't hate her, but I do hate the department. The cleanup department, in particular, seems especially barbaric. Nighttime. I'm heading back to the dorm. I can feel the strength rapidly draining from my legs with each step, probably thanks to a sense of relief over reaching the end of a very long day. Almost immediately, I come across someone as exhausted as me. It's definitely Maya. Maya, long day, huh? Eep! Oh, Shibi, it sure was. Seems like you had a rough day too. I'm glad today's finally over. I'm too tired to function. Did something happen? So many things. Actually, until just a moment ago, I was still working. You're busy all day today, right? And since we didn't work at all in the morning, everything piled up. I was just getting things cleaned up and in order. If you don't get stuff done right away, it becomes a huge headache later. Thanks for taking care of that. I'm really sorry I wasn't there to help. Though, I'm sure I would have just been in the way regardless. No way. Everything was so much harder without you there. As our conversation flags, she suddenly stops. Then she turns and just looks at me silently. Wondering if I said something that made her uncomfortable, she suddenly presses her face against my body. I get the feeling she doesn't want me to touch her, and yet she's well within hugging distance. I look down to see her standing stock still, her eyes squeezed shut. I hear her sniffle quietly a few times, and then she steps back. Maya? Shibi? Do you smell that? As if she managed to answer some question of hers, her attention shifts to a spot just behind me. Seeing the look of concern on her face, I tentatively sniff the air. The stench of blood is coming from somewhere. Gripped by disquiet, I exchange glances with Maya before nodding. Following the scent cautiously, I come upon a familiar path. We're close to the job site that I went to earlier the day, the one where I witnessed that fight. Upon that realization, my heart starts beating furiously, so loud that it's hard to hear anything else. My mind is assaulted by a flurry of disturbing images, quickly solidifying as soon as we turn the corner. Aw, thank you. I'm glad it's relaxing. I try. It only takes me a moment to realize the worm is actually a human finger. My heart, which was pounding frantically, instantly goes quiet. Maya, who's right behind me, yelps in surprise, instantly bringing me back to reality and snapping me out of my daze. The repulsive stench of blood fills all of my senses. The scene of carnage before us seems fairly fresh. The blood hasn't had time to dry, the stone floor wet and sticky with it. I shrink back as the blood slowly oozes closer to my feet. One step, then another, once more. I feel my body bump into something. I hadn't noticed the shadowy figure at first, but suddenly it was right behind me. The clack of her high heels, cutting through my chaotic confusion, her pale skin and white hair. Something out of a painting. It's definitely the bishop, although the radiance that usually surrounds her is nowhere to be seen. She's cloaked in shadow, floating through the darkness. The golden light that usually flickers in her eyes is gone, replaced with a cruel, ice-cold blue heat, glowing within the depths of each pupil. Her emotionless, cold gaze stares past us, fixed on the carnage that lies beyond us. Bishop? Diabolical desolation. Unable to handle the overwhelming emotion, Maya cautiously breaks the silence first. The bishop tilts her head up at an angle and smiles. The gesture causes my body to break out into goosebumps. It's dangerous out here this late at night. It's not safe for rookies, such as yourselves. Oh, I'm really sorry. All this. Someone must have left a sack full of the lost. I'll take care of it, so don't give the situation a second thought, you two. please get back to the dorm and rest easy? Her voice is soft and cold, and yet she's smiling, afraid to open her mouth. We simply bow respectfully, as respectfully as possible in her direction as we continue on our way. Sorry to bother you. Our apologies. Despite the smile she gives us as we walk off, I keep watching her against my better judgment. The smile instantly vanishes as soon as she turns away, causing my horrified discomfort to blaze up once more. But there's something else as well. The way she looked last night, outside the abandoned chapel, really was different than earlier today. It's like she's a different person entirely. My heart hammers furiously in my chest, still traumatized by what I saw that day. I feel something akin to fear, and yet this feeling is also completely different. It's bizarre. You'd think I'd come to know her well enough to assuage this feeling. The exultation of once again finding something you've spent ages looking for. Our job. Maya, whose mouth had been quivering slightly, all the way up to the stairs to the dorm, suddenly speaks up. Upon hearing her voice, my heart, which I thought would never stop racing, finally begins to slow down. She clasps her still trembling hands together in an attempt to settling her own nerves. Our job is about cleaning up dead bodies, right? Yeah, that's right. Why do you ask? I feel like we're getting all worked up over nothing. And yet it's weird not to feel shocked over seeing something like that, right? Pretty much. Maya falls silent. We eventually part ways after a seemingly abrupt farewell. I thought I'd gotten used to the strange going-ons at the temple by now. But it seems like there's still a lot I don't know about what happens here, or how to get by. The folks here at the temple are nuts. The longer I'm here, the more doubtful I am about what exactly is considered normal. Is it the temple itself that changes people? With the constant darkness numbing my perception of time, it feels like yesterday was an eternity ago. I can't help but worry about what lies in wait tomorrow. Fourth day. I love the way the number is like just in front of the day. 4th day. It's 4th day. Just like how yesterday was 3 day. And then the 2 was 2 day. The only thing that made sense. And we're back in Intestine Land. Welcome to Intestine Land. When I come to, I stand beneath a familiar sky. At my feet is a dragging, sucking, sticky muck. The rotten odor of entrails threatens to split my mind in two. Blood and flesh, I don't know whose, rains down from overhead. It's a dream. That dream. The dream of an angel. Her frail arms embrace me tightly, as though trying to take me away from all this. My toes point dangerously toward the very edge of a cliff. I'm about to fall. I don't even remember how things came to this. Breathing hard, I swallow, then sense a presence from behind. Hair tickles my cheek, then a soft breath that doesn't match this place. It's an angel. An angel has caught me and won't let go. My head won't move. I can't lift my arms. I rally every ounce of my strength, trying to kick the ground and flail my arms, but it only serves to further crush the blood and guts stuck to my shoes and clothing. Light shines down, blinding me. A pure white light. The angel's wings unfurl, casting a shadow on me from overhead. The angel squeezes my body even more tightly. So tightly it feels like my organs will be crushed. I feel both the warmth of the angel and a terrible freezing chill down my spine. The angel looks down at my terrified face, then gently smiles. Let go. I struggle, desperately trying to escape the angel, then finally shake free. Eventually the angel's face comes into sight. Her face. And I've met her somewhere before, haven't I? Oh God. I want to say I know what they're hinting at, but I have a feeling it's gonna throw a curveball at me. But it's getting quite late, and I have work tomorrow. Just like in the game, how my only option is to go to work. Tomorrow, my only option is to go to work. So therefore, my only option is to go to bed. But I thank you, all who attended the stream, at any point. If you would like to check out any of my other streams, or any of the other games that I played, you can do so. I also have a few short videos that you can watch as well if you're short on time. But, again, I thank you all who attended the stream now, and if you're watching this at a later date, I thank you for watching. If you like my vibe, please subscribe, and, as usual, and as you know, tomorrow is another day. See ya, and good night.